Good evening, and welcome to the PSTA public hearing on the final millage rate and the final approval of the 2016 operating and capital budget. Thank you for coming. A little bit later in the meeting, we will ask for public comments. We would ask that you fill out a card, a speaker request form, and give it to our staff. And right now I don't have any, but I'd like to officially call the meeting to order and ask all of you to rise for a moment of silence, and then Councilmember Newton will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember. I have an opening statement that I need to read at this meeting. The purpose of this public hearing is to receive public input and to allow the public to ask questions concerning the authority's tentative millage rate and tentative operating and capital budget for fiscal year 2016. After public input is received and considered, a final millage rate and budget will be adopted. Copies of our tentative budget are available if you wish one and have not already obtained one. The tentative fiscal year 2016 budget is included in that document, and it totals $77,863,799. Of that, the operating budget is $65,246,845, and the capital budget is $12,616,954. At this point, I would recognize our CEO, Mr. Brad Miller, for a staff statement. Mr. Miller.
Good evening. This public hearing has been scheduled so that the general public may be given the opportunity to comment on the proposed millage rate and budget for fiscal year 2016. A paid advertisement concerning this public hearing appeared in the Tampa Bay Times on Monday, August 24th. Notices were posted at Park Street Terminal, Grand Central Station, Williams Park, Pinellas Park Transit Center, PSTA Administrative Headquarters, and on all PSTA buses on Thursday, August 13th. Information flyers were distributed via insertion in all scheduled by mail requests on the PSTA bus fleet and at the customer service centers beginning on Thursday, August 13th. A press release announcing the public hearing was emailed or faxed to news media and PSTA email list subscribers on Tuesday, August 25th, 2015. And a notice regarding the public hearing was posted on the PSTA website on Thursday, August 13th, 2015. To date, staff has received 2 comments regarding the budget millage, including one yesterday, and so there is a separate piece of paper at your places noting the second comment.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. It is now time in the agenda to have public comments or public questions on either the millage rate or the budget. And at this time, even though I don't have cards, if there's somebody here that would like to make a comment, please approach the podium. All right, I don't see anybody coming up, so we'll close the public comment section and go to the first action item, which is adoption of the fiscal 2016 millage rate. And at this point in time, I'd like to ask Mr. Zimmett to read the final millage rate resolution, and then we will have discussion.
Resolution number 1517, a resolution of Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority fixing the final millage rate to be levied for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2015 and ending September 30, 2016, and providing for an effective date.
All right. And Mr. Miller, you did send out a email relative to what actions can be taken at this meeting versus what we took at the first meeting. And as I recall, we could lower the millage, but we could not increase from the rate that we adopted at the initial public hearing. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Do you want to make any further comments on that?
The statute includes a clear statement that the tentative millage rate adopted at the last meeting is the maximum rate that you can impose at this point.
All right. So at this point in time, I would recognize a motion or
Motion.
comments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the tentative, am I correct?
The final.
The final, but as the final rate, the same rate that was adopted.
.7305.
Thank you. All right, is there discussion, comments, questions? Hearing none? Yes.
7305 was the one that we adopted, not .75?
Right.
Point 0.7305.
305. So we can't go higher than that.
Correct.
Correct.
All right, are you ready to vote? All those in favor of the resolution as written, or as read, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying no.
No.
I hear one no from Commissioner Mark Dayton.
Mr. Chair, I'm changing my vote to a no as well.
All right? No from Commissioner Welch as well.
Add me as a no.
And Councilmember Rice. Anyone else?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner
To a no.
Johnson would like to vote no as well. All right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 no's. And
Yes, I don't know how, if you want to count. 9.
9 yeses. Okay, thank you. That motion passes. The, I have a comment to read at this point then. The fiscal year 2016 tentative millage rate of .7305 is the same millage rate as fiscal year 2015. The fiscal year 2016 rollback rate is .6898. The fiscal year 2016 millage rate of .7305 is 5.9% greater than the rollback rate, and PSTA's millage rate limit is .7500. At this point, we'll go to our second action item, which is to adopt, or to take action on the operating budget and operating capital budget. Is there a motion?
Public hearing? Public hearing on that?
We had, if there's anybody here that would like to speak on the budget, I did ask for comments on both topics at the start of the meeting, but if there's somebody, all right.
Approval?
Second?
Okay, motion by Commissioner Gerard and second by Mayor Beavis.
Question.
Question.
As regarding the budget, the bus replacement plan for the coming year, has that been determined, or are we assuming, what are we assuming in this budget, and how set is that as far as that purchase process goes?
Mr. Miller, can you address how much is in the budget for purchase of
Yes.
buses? I believe that the action item will actually come to us in a future meeting. But the amount is for the budget.
That's right. Commissioner Eggers and Chair Johnson, the PSDA board actually approved of our capital improvement program, including the bus purchases, back in May as a separate action item. Tonight, as required by, my understanding of required by state law, we have to approve, you're technically just approving the one-year capital program for fiscal year 2016, operating and capital, and we take that right out of the adopted CIP. The amount that is included in the budget that you're set to approve for the next fiscal year for bus replacements is $3.5 million. That was the amount necessary to buy, as you recall, 7 diesel buses that we continued a resolution from at the August meeting. And then, as you know, as a member of the Finance Committee, we had a discussion about that, and we're going to recommend continuing that for another meeting till your October meeting before making a final decision so that we can get the full amount of information that the Finance Committee and you have asked for in comparing the different options we have.
So in the budget now, it is the diesel purchases. If we change that position later, it would take a budget amendment to add on that or use reserves or something to make up the difference. The diesel being the cheaper bus.
Again, the budget that you're set to approve tonight doesn't, is for $3.5 million, does not specify the type of vehicles.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, are there further questions? Councilmember Newton.
It's, Brad, the dollar amount is budgeted in there so we can do hybrid buses, but that has not been approved by council. I'm sorry, by the board. I keep a lot of hats. So it's in the budget that we can replace it with X amount of hybrids, but the board has not decided if that would be the bus of choice. But the dollar amount's in there for X amount of hybrids in the capital budget. Is that correct?
In the capital budget, there is $3.5 million for bus replacement.
Okay. I saw an answer, it says we can do that and that they could be hybrids, but no one has decided. The board hasn't decided whether it's going to be electric, hybrid, or diesel.
Right, and
Okay.
at least the schedule calls for us to bring that back for the board for consideration and approval at your October meeting on the types of buses to spend that $3.5 million on.
Okay.
Is there any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the, or I guess I have to have Mr. Zimmett read the resolution first.
Resolution 1518, a resolution of the Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority adopting the final budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2015, and ending September 30, 2016, for carrying on the duties and obligations of the authority and providing for an effective date.
All in favor of the budget signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no noes, that passes unanimously. That is all the action items that we have tonight. I did want to make a small report from the executive committee. We met and talked about board procedures, and the executive committee is recommending a couple of minor changes. One is to move the attorney to sit next to the chair so that the chair can get assistance on parliamentary issues and legal issues and can nudge the chair if we need to be nudged. I'm sure that our incoming chair would not need to be nudged, but I know I occasionally need to be nudged. He will also be providing a cheat sheet on parliamentary procedure just for a review for our benefit. And the other thing that we talked about is to ask our executive director, CEO, to look into electronic options for signaling the chair for a request from the board, and possibly even incorporate that into an electronic agenda system such as the county uses. So those are things that are just wanted to not surprise you when you came to the meeting on the 30th, and Mr. Zimmett is sitting here. So that's all I have. Is there any other business to come before the board? Then we are adjourned. Thank you for coming. Thank you, staff.
I sat at the light at Ulmerton longer than you. I'm glad it's not. After the last one, you know? So, yeah, people made it 30 minutes.
Oh, my wife will be happy.